what's up everyone, this is Wagmi. This video will be about Bitcoin and Bitcoin price prediction. So my technical analysis about Bitcoin. So here is a chart of Bitcoin, and I am showing now the weekly chart, as you can see, because we are now interested in the bigger time frame. So in order to predict the next price, whether it will go to the upside or to the downside. So for those of you who have never done technical analysis before, I will do this one from scratch. So in order just to show you how easy it is to do technical analysis and predict the price of any certain asset. So here again, the chart of Bitcoin, we have this on the weekly chart. So what I will do here is I will draw a trend line. I will draw a trend line from the top here, where it started to crash since November last year, and then I will try to connect it to the points, to other points. So we have this point, so I will go this way here. So why this point? Because Bitcoin went all the way down and then it went up, and this one is called a pullback. It's not a fully recover of this crash, it's just a pullback. So because, as I said before in other videos, the price of any asset doesn't go like this. So usually it go down, up, down, up, down, up, like this, like a stairs. So again, this is a trend line, and usually when you want to draw a trend line, you need to have at least 2 to 3 connections. So this is the first one. I will go here. So, and you can already see that we have a third one here. All right, here. So this is the trend line since November last year, since the entire crash. All right. So, and what can we else see here to predict the price of Bitcoin? So you can see that we have a major support here, because Bitcoin went down, up, up again, down, up, down, up. So it's just like going up and down between this range here and here. All right. So you can see that we have this one here, and we also have this one here. Oops. Yeah, here. So now we are at this level. So, but what else can we see on this level? If we go back to the previous support, we can see that this one was around 2018. We had the same support, exactly the same support here. So because this one was the all-time high on 2018. So now you can see that. So you can see that every time Bitcoin touched this price level here, so it bounces off again. So that's why it goes up and down just at this level. So, and what else can we see? So we have a support right here. It is a strong support, and because it's tried to break it multiple times, but it could not. So, but we also have some resistance here, and we also have this trend line. It acts as a resistance. So in order for Bitcoin to go up, it has to first break this trend line. But not only this, I can also see that we have, since Bitcoin started to drop from this level all the way down, it made this a pullback. So you can see this pullback here, it ended here. So we can also draw a trend line from the top, and then we connect it to other points. So you can see right here. All right. So we have 1 point here, 1 point here, and another point here. So let me zoom in to fix this line. Yeah. So you can see every time Bitcoin, oops, yeah. So you can see every time Bitcoin touches this level, this trend line, it goes down. So it's making lower low, lower low, lower low, and it's holding at the same support. So what this one tells us, so as you can see guys, we have formed a descending triangle. So what is the definition of a descending triangle? So usually the definition of a descending triangle is that when the price comes all the way down and fluctuates between this level, holding the same support and making lower low, so usually it just continue to go back down because it's just like a continuation of the way down. So, but sometimes the descending triangle can be to the upside, which means that even though the definition of a descending triangle is to the downside, is a bearish pattern, but sometimes it can be just like a continuation to the upside. So, and yeah, it's very interesting how Bitcoin is going to react. But what if Bitcoin decides to go up or it decides to go down? So what are the next levels we can look at? So which are the resistance we have the next? So you can see we have already here a resistance, and we also have a resistance here. So usually when we have a trend line break like this one here, and again this is on the weekly basis, so usually when we have a trend line break, actually it goes up to 80-90% of the trend line, which means that once we have a breakout here, so we have a pullback and then we go back up somewhere around here. But that is not always the case, because now is a very critical and there is a lot of things happening in the world every day on the financial section. Yeah, so but we have some resistance here. Let's find this resistance. We have one resistance here, and we also have this resistance over here. So one resistance here, and all the way up to this level if we go all the way up. All right, so this is if we go to the upside. All right, but if we go to the downside, yeah, so you can see that now we are sitting at this support. So the next support area we have here, right guys, we have here. So let me draw some trend line here. So we have here, because I am laying on this support area here. So if this is a pullback, so let's say if Bitcoin, when it started to go down, up, down again, up, down, and if this is a pullback and it wants to recover, it wants to bounce off from this level, so it has to bounce off here around this level. So once it touches this level, it has to bounce off. But if this is not a pullback and it wants to go further down, so we can see that the next available support is right here. All right, right here. And you can also see that this one matched exactly with 1-2 touches. So yeah, and again, support and resistance is not like a certain price. So you can say that when Bitcoin touched the 15,000, let's say 300, so this is the next support. No, support is a range between different prices, between two prices. So you can see that we have this price here and this price here, so Bitcoin can go to this area here. All right, if it goes to the downside, but if it goes to the upside, we have these resistance 1, 2, 3. I think it's very difficult for Bitcoin to reach this area here based on what's happening in the world. Yeah, but if it goes up to this area here, it's very likely to see some reaction, some rejection here at this resistance or this resistance here. So, but what also matters for Bitcoin to go up or down, so the US dollar index, the XY. So we also have to look at the US dollar index in order to predict the price of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and the US dollar are opposite to each other. So once the US dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down, and once the US dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes up. So, and this is again on the weekly basis. So you can see here. So again, let's now analyze the chart of the US dollar. All right, so we started this up move since here. All right, we have this trend line, but we can see because it was a very bullish, so it didn't came back to this area here, to this trend line. It has made another move, another pattern, another trend line. So you can see we have 1 2 3 1 2 touches. All right, so now we are using this trend line as a support. All right, so but again the US dollar was even more bullish, so it has made another pattern here. All right, so you can see this one here. So but now it has reached the top here, this one, and this one is our next resistance. And if it wants to come back as a pullback, where it has to come back, so it will come back somewhere around this area here, and you can see it has exactly reacted at this area, at this level. So we have also another trend line here. All right, so for the US dollar index, you can see that we are sitting around here and here. All right, we are going up and down, up again. So but you can see that once we reach this level, we made a pullback to this level here. We use it as a support once we made a pullback, and then we went up. So now we are on the way up. All right, so if we come back to this area here, so that means the US dollar is gonna up, and then Bitcoin is gonna fall again. But if the US dollar goes down, so then we can see that Bitcoin will go up again. So but that is also related to some other things. Sorry guys for making it a bit complicated, but because everything is related to each other in the financial sector, so you also have to look at the interest rate, which is this one. So you can also see that the interest rate in the United States is shooting up. All right, so and when we have this is going up, so that means everything else in the world will go down. All right, so if the interest rate in the United States goes down, so that means probably we can see some move on the US dollar. So we can see that the US dollar starts to drop down. But if the interest rate keeps going up, so we can also see that the US dollar keeps going up, and then everything else just crash. All right, so thank you so much for watching guys. This is all for today's video. I hope you got some benefit, some value of this video. So and now you know what are the next level of the price of Bitcoin. So see you again.